It looks like a scene from the Marshall Islands. Teenage boys wearing grass skirts and crowns of ivy dance around barefoot while banging sticks on the ground. But you don't have to travel to the Marshall Islands in the middle of the Pacific Ocean to experience the traditional music and dance of the Marshallese. You just have to travel to Springdale, Arkansas. There you'll find a community of 6,000 Marshallese, some working in the Tyson chicken plant, others working in a wide variety of professions. The influx of islanders has surprised a number of Springdale residents, including Barbara Hewlett.
How did they find, Springdale, Arkansas? How did they find us on the map? I think it's, just very unusual, the center of the USA.
The first people from the Marshall Islands came to Arkansas in 1992. The first islanders who settled in the Ozarks brought their extended families and friends to northwest Arkansas. Carmen Chungum came to Springdale 2 years ago from the Marshall Islands. She says even though she and her family have found good jobs and a nice place to live, she misses the islands where she grew up.
I do miss home. You miss the water, sitting under the coconut trees on the beach and watching the waves coming in, and even the breeze, feel it and smell the salty air and, all that. You missed it.
The influx of people from the Marshall Islands into northwest Arkansas has coincided with the influx of Hispanic people. Longtime Springdale resident Clyde Hewlett.
Sometimes we just get accustomed to living day for day, and we tend not to notice anything that's changing around us, and yet there's a constant change. I know that we have to have change. Nothing can remain the same.
Because of the growing diversity in the area, a multicultural center was established in northwest Arkansas in 1995. Diana Scheel is the executive director. She says when there are language barriers, and different skin colors, it can create tension. She says some of the Marshallese have experienced harassment.
This area has been traditionally segregationist and very racist in its views. And it has a history of that. You can change laws, but you can't change people's hearts and minds overnight.
Overt discrimination and hate aren't obvious to many of the Marshallese. Anthony Catalan says the people of northwest Arkansas have made him feel welcome.
We are received well. We are treated well. I believe people in Arkansas respect other people. We love one another, and we feel like we're home.
Even those willing to call Arkansas home say they don't want their children to forget the traditions and culture of the Marshall Islands. So this summer, about 45 Marshallese children attended a cultural summer school program for 4 weeks. The program ended with a community performance that featured native clothing, chanting, singing, and dancing. 13-year-old Angola Kabulavan has lived in Springdale for the last year. He says he's excited to have the opportunity to learn about his heritage.
We're in America now, and some of us are forgetting our cultures and history, so they set the school up so that we could learn our customs again. We need to know these stuff so we can pass it down generation to generation. When we grow up and we have kids, we have to pass it down to them. The recent cultural program put on by the young people in summer school started with the national anthem of the Republic of the Marshall Islands. In English, the song says, "I love the islands where I was born, the surroundings, the paths, and the gathering places. I cannot leave here because it is my rightful place. I'll never leave my dear home sweet home." From Springdale, Arkansas, I'm Missy Shelton for KSMU News.
The national anthem of the Republic of the Marshall Islands emphasizes the importance of home. The words of the song say, "I cannot leave here because it is my rightful place. I'll never leave my dear home sweet home." But that's exactly what a number of Marshallese have done. Roughly 2,000 families now call Springdale, Arkansas, home. This migration has come as a surprise to native Arkansans like Barbara Hewlett.
How did they find, Springdale, Arkansas? How did they find us on the map? I think it's, just very unusual, the center of the USA.
The influx of people from the Marshall Islands into northwest Arkansas began in the early 90s. Tyson Chicken was having a hard time finding local people willing to work in its plant, cradled in the hills of the Ozarks. The Marshall Islands Compact of Free Association with the United States allows the Marshallese to work and live in the U.S. without visas. So, once word about the plentiful jobs at the Arkansas chicken plant reached the islands, the migration to Springdale began. Carmen Chongum joined family members living in Arkansas. She says she's grateful to have a good job, but she misses the islands where she grew up.
I do miss home. You miss the water, sitting under the coconut trees on the beach and watching the waves coming in, and even the breeze, feel it and smell the salty air and, all that. You missed it.
Even though the Marshallese people in Springdale stick together, they say it's difficult to make sure their children don't forget their heritage and the natural beauty of their homeland. In northwest Arkansas, they're surrounded by farmland and new housing developments to accommodate the influx of immigrants working in the area. And there are many restaurants in Springdale offering fried chicken. One of those is Neil's Cafe, a place that attracts locals like Clyde Hewlett. As he pushes away the remnants of a plate of fried chicken, he reflects on the way the Marshallese have fit into Springdale.
We have to have people that does the manual labor in order for our society to exist. Everyone knows that we have to have people in our chicken plants and farming and, orchards and this type of thing. So we have to have those kind of people.
Even if the Marshallese are playing an important role in Springdale's economy, there are some in the area who don't want the islanders living in the Ozarks. Diana Scheel is the director of the Multicultural Center of Northwest Arkansas. She says there have been cases of harassment because some white residents of Springdale can't look past the dark skin of the Marshallese. But Scheel says if people would look beyond the differences of appearance, they'd see similarities between the islanders and native Arkansans.
There's a strong sense of pooling their resources together so that everybody can get ahead. Very family-oriented, very community-oriented. They reach decisions by consensus. They defer to their elders. So in that way, they're a lot like the traditional Ozark culture.
The more the Marshallese have in common with their American neighbors, the looser their grip becomes on their own traditions. That troubles 13-year-old Angola Kabolavan, who took part in a cultural summer school for Marshallese children in Arkansas.
We're in America now, and some of us are forgetting our cultures and history, so they set the school up so that we could learn our customs again. We need to know these stuff so we can pass it down generation to generation. When we grow up and we have kids, we have to pass it down to them.
There are some Marshallese who say they consider northwest Arkansas to be their home now. They're sending letters to cousins and friends still struggling to make a living in the Marshall Islands. Thanks to those letters, more Marshallese continue to choose northwest Arkansas over their tropical homeland. For NPR News, I'm Missy Shelton in Springdale, Arkansas.